See, y'all, the love they show when I'm around. I wonder would they show the same when I'm down. See, you a king when you're sitting on top, but you a fool when you finally drop. I thank the Lord for everything I got. It ain't no limit till my time stops. Call me a fool, but you can't fool me. Call me a fool, but you can't fool me. Yo. Once again, it's on. Back at you one more again. Real Ken's TV in the house like kitchen sinks. Now, before I get into this afternoon's story, if you will, understand that I'm the self-proclaimed Mr. 30 Minutes or Better. Anytime I drop you a story, it's guaranteed to be 30 minutes or better. So if you're on your way to work, at work you don't feel like being there, as we so often don't. You're on your way home from work, you need to laugh, you need to cry. Perhaps you need to lay down and take a nap, or you're trying to go to sleep at night, depending on whatever time you're listening to or viewing this video. Or you're just in a mood for a good old-fashioned true, keyword being true, penitentiary/life story/life experience. If you prefer your 8 to 12 to 15-minute videos, absolutely nothing wrong with that whatsoever. But at Real Ken's TV, it's 30 minutes or better. So with all that being said, with all that wrapped up into one big old nutshell that is, there is a message. Before we get into today's story, y'all jump in the comment section. Let me know where you chiming in from. I'm in Lexington, Kentucky. Let it be known, your city, your state, your hood, your set. Let us know if you the man or the woman that you say you be. You know, it's kind of hot out here, so I got to, get comfortable and whatnot. Oftentimes, man, we have that one individual, sometimes 2, 3. But a lot of times it's that one individual that we just really, really trust in life. That one individual to where we feel as though, you know what? I'll take a bullet for this person. That one individual to where if the house was on fire, guess what? I'm going in. I'm going in after. Solid. Loyalty. That one individual that you give your entire life to. When I reflect back on this story that I'm about to bring you all this afternoon, if you will, it really, really makes me ponder if any of those things that I just mentioned are really worth it. Are they real? Will they do the same for you? Got 2 best friends, man, since kids, grade school. I'm talking about 5, 6 years old. Came up, same age, same classes coming up. Played on the same football, basketball teams, baseball teams. They did everything together. If you seen one, you seen the other one. You seen the other one, you seen one. If that makes any sense. The 2 individuals. You got David, you got Kendrick. As I mentioned, they the same age, man. These dudes was really they was really like that, man. All the way through high school. Ended up going to the same college. When they got out of college, David had started a business. It's a construction business. Of course, he had to bring his best friend along, Kendrick. Now, although it was David's business, it was his vision, it was his money, Kendrick was his guy. So if I eat, you eat. He brings Kendrick along for the ride. Kendrick contributes to the company. Don't get it. He's not just sitting around just, with his hand out. He was an asset to the company, but it was Dave's vision and Dave's money. Company was growing successful, very, very successful. But anytime you're experiencing success, there's going to be sacrifices. David had a wife. He had a wife, and her name was LaTanya. LaTanya had went to high school with Dave and Kendrick just as well. She was a couple years younger, though. Y'all rock with me. She was a couple years younger, but, they got together in high school, and they stayed together all the way, throughout college and into early adulthood, to the point to where they got married. By all accounts, from the outside looking in, it appeared as though the couple was just madly in love, man. Just happy. No problems. Now, we know everybody experiences problems. But again, from the outside looking in, it seemed as though everything was perfect. The business was thriving. Got a nice home. No addictions, drugs, alcohol, nothing of the sorts. It comes along little Jordan, the first and only son. When Jordan comes along, that's the pride of David's life. The pride of his joy. Being that Kendrick was Dave's best friend, automatically, Dave, along with LaTanya, they give Kendrick the responsibility, the title, the honor of being the godfather. Kendrick was ecstatic. He didn't have any kids of his own. He more than accepted that role. As I mentioned, anytime you have success, you got sacrifices. Dave would do any and everything that he could possibly do to put his family in position to be successful. To put his son in position to where, once he's 18 and goes to college and things of that nature, has, college fund and trust funds, and, he was really, really putting in those long hours at the job, man. Sometimes he'd leave out at 7 o'clock in the morning. He might not make it in until, 10, 11 o'clock at night. He had those days, but he always made sure that he had a day or two throughout the week to where, he gave to his wife. Come on, baby, we're going to go out. Because I know that I've been working a whole lot of hours, but to afford this lifestyle and the things that we're trying to accomplish, this is what it takes. Dave Ramsey, man, if you're not familiar with Dave Ramsey, look him up. Financial guru. Here's a quote: live like nobody else today to live like nobody else tomorrow. Meaning that while everybody else is going out partying and finger popping and candle lighting or whatever they doing, I'm gonna be at this office. I'm gonna be grinding. I'm gonna be getting this money, putting us in a situation to where 10 years from now, while everybody else is struggling and trying to figure out how they're gonna get this paid and how they're gonna get that paid, we can just lay back. So yeah, our relationship, but we're gonna make the time. We're gonna find the time to make this thing work. That was Dave's whole mentality, his whole sentiment. In the meanwhile, while he's working all these long hours and taking these business trips out of town, because Kendrick didn't always have to go with him, so he would often have to go out of town on just different construction sites and just handling business, 2, 3 days, 4 days. He trusted Kendrick so much that Kendrick would stop by the house, stop by the house and make sure, everything was everything. Make sure that, the fam was okay. That's how much Dave trusted him. Never thought anything in his mind. Got to the point to where Kendrick and LaTanya, which once again is Dave's wife, they've always known each other, but they started to get a lot more familiar and friendlier with each other. Sometimes the three of them would have dinner together, and there would be odd looks between Kendrick and LaTanya. Dave would see certain things, but he's telling himself, I'm tripping, man. I'm just paranoid, man. Probably tired. I don't work 16 hours today. Or he's not really picking up on the, not necessarily obvious signs, but there are signs. Being this is my best friend, and this is my wife. Nah, I'm not paying that no mind. So the more and more Dave was gone, off trying to secure the bag, a future for his family, a nice, comfortable future. It got to the point to where Kendrick was coming over. Now, I know that I already said that he was coming over, but he was coming over in a different fashion, if you will. Now he's coming over when little Jordan's asleep. He knew Dave wasn't going to come in. Dave's out of town somewhere. Dave's hundreds, sometimes thousands of miles away. Got to the point to where Kendrick started to spend the night. Can you imagine that? Your best friend, fellas, your best friend, we all got best friends. Can you imagine you married? And this guy that you really, really trust is infiltrating your home, sleeping in your bed, spending the night. You're talking to your wife, and all the while, your best friend's laying right beside her, and you don't even have a clue. She's acting as though everything is just perfectly normal. They didn't have a situation in which they were fighting. There was no verbal abuse, physical abuse, nothing. Just the fact that he would be away from home often, trying to get this money for the family. I guess in a sense, not to give her any sort of excuses, because wrong is wrong. I guess she was somewhat vulnerable. Kendrick seen that, and he took advantage of the opportunity. You see, Kendrick always had a thing for LaTanya. He always wanted LaTanya. I guess in a sense he resented Dave, his best friend, to a certain extent, because Dave had what he ultimately wanted. Now there's an outright affair going on. He's sneaking over during the daytime. Dave's at work. He knows Dave's every move. And it just got to the point to where they got to talking about love. Kendrick and LaTanya got to talking about they loved each other. What would this life, what would this world be like if we could ultimately be together? Well, there's no way that we could be together because I'm married to Dave. What if Dave wasn't around? What if somehow, some way we could get rid of Dave and it'd just be us? Fellas, I want y'all to imagine this being your best friend saying this to your wife. At first, it was just one of those things to where Kendrick kind of threw it out there. See if he could catch a little bait from it. So it was a running joke for a couple weeks or so. But then it became more and more of a serious conversation. I want to show you something. Actually, I want to tell you something. This is Kendrick talking to LaTanya. Dave took out an additional life insurance policy, and it's over $1 million, and he's talking about increasing it. She's like, did he? He's like, yes. This is just how much Dave loved his family. He's talking about increasing it real soon, and with everything that you already have, in addition to that life insurance policy, we could set ourselves up real nicely for the future. Wouldn't have to do anything else. We'd be set. Are you suggesting what I'm thinking that you're suggesting? Are you? No, I'm just simply putting it out there for you, baby. Seems as though it's going to be the only way that we can ever truly be together and not have to hide and sneak and creep. Now LaTanya's thinking about this life insurance policy. She'd be the beneficiary of it. Like I said, it's over $1 million, and he's about to increase it. How would that ever happen? How could we possibly make this thing, because the first thing they're gonna do is probably look at me being the spouse. You let me handle that, baby. All you gotta do is just give me the green light. Give me the green light, and I can make this thing happen, baby, and we can just be together. In a sense, it seemed as though LaTanya started to resent her husband, David, for working hard for the family. Instead of just bringing it to him like a normal person and you all talk it out and arrange to see each other more. No, you never even brought it to his attention. Thinking about this money. Thinking about Kendrick. He's making you feel so special. He's telling you that he loves you. He's recognizing when you got your hair done, when you got on a nice outfit, new outfit, whatever the case may be, giving you the compliments, on a daily basis, checking on you, seeing how your day's going, giving you those nice hugs. You know how it is when you hug somebody else. When you hug somebody else and it just feels so different. It just feels right. All of these things she's experiencing with Kendrick. Teenage love. Don't hurt me again. Don't hurt me again. A teenage love. That's what she's feeling. To the capacity of where she's really considering having her husband wiped off the face of this earth. Husband was a provider. Took care of them, man. They spoke about it for a few more weeks. Like I said, Kendrick had already said, allow me to take care of it. But LaTanya didn't want to jump the gun. She thought about it. Let's do it. Let's make it happen. As I've mentioned several times, Kendrick was more like a brother to Dave. He calls Dave up one night. Apologize for the noise. They cutting grass, so hopefully you can hear me. You heard me? Get it? Hopefully you can hear me. You heard me? He calls his best friend in the whole world up. Look, bro. Get off tonight, man. Let's go have a drink. Dave was tired. He'd been working all day long. But not only was Dave feeling guilty for somewhat neglecting his family as far as personally being there with the time, he knew that he hadn't been spending any time with his best friend as well. So he agreed. They met at a bar. They talked. What's up, man? I ain't talked to you in a while. How's things going? How you even though they were business partners, they still didn't really see each other like that. Dave's handling business, man. Kendrick's playing. He's playing games. Check this out, man. I want to show you this property. I want to show you this property that I'm really, really looking to invest in, and I think that you would be a very good, very good investment partner. Dave really knew that he needed to get home, but it was already late. He felt as though his wife was probably already asleep. So he agreed to go look at this property with Kendrick. But Dave didn't realize that it was 2 hours outside of, the state that they were in. It took a couple hours to get there. As I mentioned, it's already late. They get to an area. Things started to look strange to Dave. He's looking around. It's like a wooded area. He's thinking, okay, perhaps it's just a lake or, a house on a lake or, something like that. Because all he's seeing is just like trees and just grass. It's just a big open area. He does see some water. It's like a river. Cry me a river. One of those. But he's not in his right frame of mind. He's starting to feel woozy. He's starting to... You see, when they were at the restaurant, Kendrick had slipped something into Dave's drink. Dave had gotten up to use the restroom or something like that. Kendrick slipped it into his drink. The effects of what he put into his drink was really, really starting to take place at this point. So he's not in his right. He's trying to speak. He's trying to, but he's just so woozy, man. At that point, Kendrick pulls out a gun. Kendrick pulls a gun out. His best friend. Fellas, imagine this now. I need y'all to rock with me. I'm sorry for the noise. I might have to go to another location because they're cutting grass, and I don't know. Hopefully they'll be done real soon. But nevertheless, the show must go on. He's pointing his gun at his best friend, but his hands are shaking. He's shaking like Elvis. After all, Kendrick's not no killer. This is his best friend. His best friend has this look on his face like, bro, what are you doing? But he's like he's stoned. Bro, what are you doing? Everything's in slow motion. Kendrick had second thoughts. I can't do this. This is my best friend. I don't have to do this. But he got to thinking about LaTanya. You see, there was a hidden secret that no one knew other than LaTanya and Kendrick. The little son, Jordan, that I spoke of, he wasn't Dave's child. He was Kendrick's son. See, she had been messing around with Kendrick long before they decided to do this plot, this plan. Dave had made comments before, jokingly. Damn, Jordan looks more like you, Kendrick. But it was all a joke. Once again, the red flags, the things that was obvious, the things that, the signs he ignored. Jordan was his best friend's son. He wanted his best friend. Let's rewind that, because that wasn't right. The best friend wanted Jordan to know that he was the father. But as long as Dave was in the picture, that was not going to happen. Kendrick's thinking about all of these things while he's sitting there with the gun, and he's shaking. He's shaking. And unbeknownst, boom, pulls the trigger. Wasn't even necessarily wanting to or trying to at that moment, but he pulls the trigger. Pulls the trigger, side of the head, headshot. Blood starts to, spatter everywhere or whatever. Remember, this is Dave's car. Dave pulls him out of the car, drags him to the river, throws him in the river. Kendrick pulls Dave out of the car, rather. And Kendrick was a large-sized dude. Kendrick was 6'2", 6'3", 225, 230, worked out. And so he had the physical strength to do so. Throws him in the river, grabs his wallet, takes the money out of his wallet. Then he takes the wallet and throws that in the river just as well. Make it look like he got robbed. Not exactly sure how Kendrick made it back because he was 2 hours away, but nevertheless, he made it back. I don't know if he called a taxi. I'm assuming he just probably called a cab or something like that. Because again, they were in Dave's car when they went. Next day, the wife wakes up. She's ecstatic. She's. Now, when I say she's ecstatic, perhaps that wasn't the right word to use. She was very concerned, baffled. She don't understand. This is not like her husband. My husband is responsible. He don't party. He don't stay out night other than when he's at, all night other than when he's at work or something's not right. Just calling the husband, no answer. Calls the police department. I want to report my husband missing. Well, it's only been a night. The police is not going to really take that serious because, people don't come home for a day or two or whatever. They're not going to just put out searches and things of that nature. And so they enlighten the husband. She calls. See, she wanted to have phone records for everything. So she calls Kendrick. She's panicking. Oh, I can't find Dave. Knowing damn well what happened. I can't find Dave. Calm down, calm down. I'm on my way. I'm on my way. Kendrick comes over. Day turns to 2 days. 2 days turns to 3 days. Something's definitely wrong. After a few days, the police get on it. They get to looking for Dave everywhere. No traces. Hadn't been to work. Hadn't used any sort of credit cards, debit cards. Hadn't his phone. None of these things were being utilized. As I mentioned, Kendrick had thrown Dave into it's like a little river. One day an individual was out. I'm not sure if he was fishing. I'm not sure exactly what he was doing, but he was out and he sees the body float up kind of like on the little bank of the river. Calls 911. They come in, grab the body, what have you. Once they come in and they grab the body, they understand that they have a individual that's not alive. The thing about it, he had no ID on him whatsoever, none. Remember, Kendrick had taken ID, totally different state. But you see, the thing about it is this. Let me tell you, the thing about it is this. When Kendrick shot Dave in the side of his head, he wasn't dead. And when he threw him in that cold river, there's a medical technology, there's a technical name for it, rather. And I don't remember exactly what they referred to it as, but the cold water shocked him. And when it shocked him, that cold water actually saved his life. So being that he was on the bank of the river, he was still alive. He was still alive. Now, had he just been straight up, like in the river, because what happened, like once he threw him in the water, right, he ended up coming to. So once he came to, he's in the water, it's frozen, so his body, kind of went into shock, but he was able to kind of work his way back to the bank, of the river. And I guess at that point he passed out. But he was still alive when the people came, 911 or whatever. They take him to the hospital. He's in a coma for a couple weeks or so. He comes out of the coma. Now, all of these things, Kendrick and LaToya, they don't have a clue. They just thinking that he's gone. He comes out of the coma. When he comes out of the coma, he don't know who he is. Full-blown amnesia. Don't have a clue of who he is from the bullet wound that he took. Amazingly, it didn't penetrate his brain. Being shot at close range like that. But he's not even sure who he is. So he's in the hospital pretty much under John Doe. Has no clue who he is. Don't remember anything about his life. Nothing whatsoever. And again, key thing, he's in a totally different state. In the meanwhile, as the months go on, LaToya and Kendrick get a lot more comfortable as far as being seen out in public. Kendrick was the best friends, he was the best friend of her husband, and he's just there to comfort LaToya and the child initially. Took him 6 months to collect the insurance policy. Over $1 million, over a meal ticket. They sell the house that they lived in, buy a better house, a bigger house, better neighborhood. LaToya's spending like crazy. She's buying designer bags, designer this, designer that. The business completely shuts down, and They take the money that's in the business or what have you, and they start some sort of a consulting firm, in which Kendrick is the owner. He runs it. Everything's going well. In the meanwhile, her husband Dave, in which she's signed the documents and whatever the legal, I'm not sure exactly what the legal requirements were, but he was declared dead. Once he didn't come back for so long, he was literally, legally declared as deceased. Meanwhile, Dave, he's at a rehab center. He's having to learn to walk and all of that good stuff again. So it takes him some time. It takes him a while. A couple years goes past. He still don't remember anything. He can't remember nothing. He can walk again. He can talk again. He's pretty much normal, with the exception of not memorizing anything about his life. On the flip side, you got Kendrick and you got LaTanya. They done got married. They're doing community work. They're seen out in the public. They're looked upon as that beautiful couple. Bless their heart. They've gone through so much. 3 years goes past. 4 years goes past. Dave's really struggling. Ironically, he goes by the name of Dan. Just came up with a name for himself because he didn't even know his own name. So he just started telling people to call him Dan. He's on the streets. He's homeless, going from shelter to shelter. Summertime, he would stay outside, but in the wintertime, he's homeless. But he has skills. He knows how to do like construction jobs, but he couldn't remember how he knew how to do these, where he picked these skills up at the construction job. So he would go to construction sites. Listen, man, I don't got no ID. I don't have, but I can work, man. They give him a shot, and he's a heck of a worker. The man don't know who he is. He would get paid under the table. He didn't have no ID or anything. He'd get paid under the table, straight cash. He got to the point to where he sunk into a depression. Started drinking a lot. Started using drugs. Can you imagine not knowing who you are? Can you imagine not even knowing, remembering, recognizing your own family, your kids, your mother? You're in a totally different place, although you're just a couple hours away. Can you imagine? The case had been shut. Police weren't looking for him anymore. They definitely wasn't looking for him in a totally different state. About year 5, some things started to kind of turn for old Dave. Dave started to have these dreams, and he would see these faces in his dream, and it would be his wife and Jordan. But he couldn't put his finger on it. He didn't know who they were. He just kept having these same dreams. More months passed, and then Kendrick's picture would appear to him. Again, he couldn't put his finger on it, but he knew something was just wasn't quite right. Dave decided, you know what, man, I'm gonna clean myself up. Checks into a rehab. I'm not sure exactly how he was able to do it. Like I said, I don't know if he had an ID, I don't know. But he checks himself into a rehab. He's determined to get clean, and he gets clean. He don't smoke anymore. He don't use drugs anymore. He doesn't drink anymore. At this point, it's about 6 years later. More and more is coming to him, and he's starting to remember his past life. He gets to the point to where he remembers that night. He remembers his wife. He remembers his son. He remembers Kendrick. He remembers Kendrick calling him, inviting him to the bar. He remembers Kendrick luring him to a secluded area. Him pulling that gun out on him. He remembers the whole shindig. Still has some things that were sketchy, but he remembers the main parts. He's trying to determine how he's going to approach this. You see, he didn't want to just run up on Kendrick or Latanya, because who's to say that they won't try to do him in again? They already tried to do him once. Who's to say they won't do it again? He wanted to go straight to the police, but would the police actually believe me? So he contemplated on a while. Decided to go to the police. Because remember, at this point, he remembers, so he knows where he's from. He knows where he lived at. He knows. Police was very hesitant to believe him. But the details were so specific that they had to really, really take heed to what he was saying. Once the police took heed to what he was saying, it was more so one of those things to where it was like, we can't, it's not what you know, it's what you can prove. We can't just go and arrest them just based on what you're saying. You're going to have some concrete evidence or something. We believe you, but you just saying it's not enough. And they millionaires, they're going to have top of the line lawyers. See, the police is already knowing these things. Dave's even more disgusted than he's already been, but as more time elapses, the more that he remembers. Okay, I'll fix this. He goes, he buys him a, little tape recorder or whatever, and he steps to Kendrick. He goes to Kendrick's consulting firm, walks in the door. The secretary's telling him, no, sir, he's busy right now. He walks right past the secretary and walks in Kendrick's office. Kendrick literally falls out of his chair and he's backing up. He's scooting on the ground like, no, how could it be? How could it be? I killed you. You have to be a ghost. Dave just looks at him. My nigga. Dave has a seat. He's talking to Kendrick calmly. At this point, it's nearly seven years later. That's how you do me. The godfather of my child, who's probably your child, to be perfectly honest. Yeah, you thought I didn't know. That's how you do me. Listen, bro, I promise you it wasn't my fault, man. Your wife put me up to it. She said that you had an insurance policy. No, see, that's where you went wrong, because she didn't know anything about the insurance policy. You were the one that I told about the insurance policy. She knew that I had a policy, but she didn't know the specifics. So this was something that you all, came together and created, conjured up. No, brother, just listen to me, man. I haven't been able to sleep for the past 7 years. I regret it. I just wish that I hadn't done it. I would do anything to be able to take it back. Man, I love you, man. You my best friend, man. But I'm in love, man. I was in love with Latanya, and I just wanted what was best for her. So what was best for her was shooting me in the side of the head and throwing me in the river. That's what was best. I swear it was all her idea, brother. I swear. Whole time it's being recorded. Dave was smart. Much as Dave wanted to really do Kendrick in, break his neck, that wasn't a smart way about going about things. He takes the recording to the police. That was enough. Police come back and arrest both of them, Latanya and Kendrick. They're in jail. Judge don't want to give her no bond. Everything's put on hold. So she had a bond, but everything's put on hold because not only were they arrested for attempted murder, but insurance fraud. So everything that they had in the bank, frozen. The house, couldn't sell the house, couldn't get a loan on the house or whatever, frozen. All the assets were frozen because of this insurance fraud. Tanya was able to somehow get some money, and she hired some very good attorneys. Kendrick, court-appointed attorney, he flipped. He worked with the state. It was all her idea. She set the whole thing up. She had me do this or whatever. He put it off on LaTanya. Trial time comes. You got Kenneth testifying on the behalf of the state. LaTanya flips it and puts it, off on Kendrick. She sheds her tears like a lot of these women do. Not saying that all of them are faking, but a lot of them are faking, pump faking. I just endured so much stress. I endured so much emotional and physical abuse. I was scared. I just wanted to get away from him. And when Kendrick came up with this plan, I didn't really want to do it, but I was just so afraid. He's afraid, huh? So about this 1.3 mil. Ain't had nothing to do with it, huh? That's how the prosecution's talking to. I didn't care about the money. I just wanted to have some solidarity. I just wanted to just feel safe in my own home. There were no traces, no 911 calls, no hospital records. There was no family and friends or anything of the sorts that said that they ever seen any sort of argument, disagreement, disruption between the two. So it was totally bogus. Prosecution wasn't buying it. Jury wasn't buying it. As a result of turning state's witness, Kendrick got 25 years. LaTanya got 30 years of life, which means she has to do 30 years before she even has a remote chance of going home on parole. Your best friend, man. That was your best friend. At this point, the son is 14, 15 years old. Jordan. He don't know what to think. He's confused. Yeah, he remembers the early years of Dave. In my opinion, his real dad. Now, it wasn't his blood, but he remembers some of those years. But he also remembers the last 7 years with Kendrick. So many people lose in this situation. Dave will never be the same. He psychologically messed around, man. The son Jordan will never be the same. He don't know what to think. Both of his parents are in prison, and probably they'll get out, but 25, 30, 40 years from now. He's 14 years old right now. Well, at the time. Gotta be very, very mindful who you trust and who you tell your business to, man. Because you never know who wants what you have. You telling your best friend this about your wife, and your best friend that about your finances, and your best friend, and all the while that same best friend could be the very one that's plotting on you, man. Real Kens TV. Hopefully you like the video. Feel free to comment, definitely share, subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Be sure to hit that post notification anytime I bring you this action and this heat. Guess what? You're amongst the first to receive. Now y'all stay tuned for the next video, because I'm gonna drop you about 3 videos today. You heard me? So make sure y'all hit that notification bell, because some people are saying, well, Kens, man, I'm not being notified when your videos come on. Just double check, make sure the notification is on, and we're gonna rock out, man. I got at least 2 more videos coming for you this evening, so just rock with me, man. Real Kens TV.